Yeah, for sure. My name's Alec Udell. I'm racing the number 63 Corvette 06 GT3R with DXDT Racing in SRO America. I came in not having too many expectations, just to be able to soak up as much information as I could. And so the expectation that I did have was just researching a little bit on what it would look like. And I think those expectations were definitely met and exceeded in the sense that it's quite it's a system like a Formula One team would use. And so whenever you do a little bit of research on driver and loop simulators for racing purposes, like the only things that really pop up are F1 teams that are using these similar types of systems. So from that perspective, I knew that the engineering capabilities and the resources that you have at your fingertips to be able to make an accurate setup call or an accurate feel of the racetracks that we go to, it was going to be unlike anything that I had experienced before. I think the combination of all of that, it's not just one particular thing, it's that everything works so well together that it really immerses you like you would be in a car. And so that, and then paired with the ability to feel setup changes and to make adjustments and get immediate feedback within a lap or two, that is so worthwhile and, like I said, so efficient in the way that we're able to operate. The other thing that's very helpful is learning the steering feel, or being more aware of your hands in the car. So you get a lot of good feedback through the seat and stuff that's very intuitive. The thing that I think as drivers we take for granted is the steering feel and the feedback. And so something that's very intuitive and is very similar feeling is the way that the steering feel behaves, and that's something that you generally aren't getting from say a private or a commercially available sim to the public, is that the steering feel, you lose a little bit of precision, especially in that understeer feel of the car. And so that is something that is very intuitive. With the work in the DIL, we're able to show up and be confident that we're going to be within the box already and be making small setup changes. So I think from an engineering perspective and from a driver perspective, the focus gets to be more on optimization rather than finding the window. Took probably 5 to 10 laps to really be able to utilize in myself the maximum of what I could get out of the sim. And through the first day, it was all, like I said, just learning, although able to come up quicker than what I would have anticipated. I have a decent amount of sim experience just in my own personal one at home, which is nothing crazy. So having that experience, I think, is helpful because I have some background and I've put in the work to be good at understanding how the car feels with fewer feedback. So when you come here and you're on DIL, you get the whole platform movement and everything that feels very similar to the car. You just are missing a little bit of the G load that you would have in the race car. So. It's so efficient. So we're able to do setup changes and completely change, if we want to, how the car is behaving with gear stacks, geometry changes, shock settings, everything, stuff that might take hours to change on a car, we can do in a matter of minutes. And we can go to multiple tracks within one day. That's something that you can't really replicate anywhere else, that you're able to go, from Road America to VIR to Indy and do all those in a matter of an hour time span. So that is extremely helpful in terms of the efficiency of use of time, and then the data that we're pulling out of this system and the setups that we show up with at the racetrack from the work here is, I think, unparalleled in my experience so far. And that's something that I think is a very useful tool that we have at our benefit that's allowing us to be successful like we have been so far with DXDT this year. And I think one of the things that, of course, is why the Corvette platform is so successful for a number of years. From a driver coaching perspective, I've done quite a lot of work over the last 5 years as a coach, and a lot of the times what we're doing is, the data overlay and the video overlay comparison, all those things. And with the driver in loop simulator, you're able to be live in the ear and instant feedback. That was good, that was not what we're looking for. And I think things are a little bit more calm. So the driver that you're working with has a bit more mental capacity to be able to take input and use it for that session that you're working on, versus when you're at a track doing some testing, it can be a bit challenging to be in the driver's ear the whole time. And the data feedback, you're generally having to download the data from the session, look at the data, go through the laps. It's a little bit more quick in terms of the direct feedback, and especially the while you're driving feedback for that driver that you're working with. So I think that is very beneficial. And the same thing, you can go to like 2 or 3 different tracks pretty easily, more if you wanted to in one day. So if you have a schedule and it's tight and you only have one day that you can devote to testing, you can go and hit 3 racetracks, I think, and get competent in terms of the amount of time and amount of testing that you're putting towards that in one day. And if you do 2 days, you can double that, or double the amount of time that you're putting into those tracks.